Former President Trump's violent rhetoric against General Mark Milley is raising fears that he will use a second term in the Oval Office to seek revenge against his enemies. In his statement on Friday, Trump claimed that Chief of Staff Milley, who will resign from his post at end of the week, deserves death penalty for allegedly betraying him and treason. The threat came just days after Milley said that if Trump wins the presidency in 2024, he will take revenge on those he believes wronged him. Milley also believes Shush is at the top of the revenge list. H is going to start locking people up, and I'm going to be at top of the list. Milley told The Atlantic in a profile of four-star general published last week. Christy Parker, a legal counsel for Protecting Democracy who has led litigation over abuse of power and interference in government functions, said Trump's comments about Milley were deeply troubling for American democracy. Threats alone have an incredibly chilling effect on the ability of public actors do the jobs we want him to do. Have a functional democracy, he said. Trump has shown and talked about weaponizing the Justice Department to retaliate against people sees as his enemies. And he actually did that to people for the first time when became president. The Trump-Milley feud has been simmering for years, with two-wing over racial justice protests in 2020 and military's role in Jan. 6. 2021 attack on U.S. Capitol. But long after administration ended, Milley remains on Trump's mind. Books and articles document steps the general said he took to guard against Trump's erratic behavior. Last week's death threat stems from reports that Milley assured Chinese officials at end of his presidency that there would be no threat to Beijing in final days of Trump administration. According to 2021 book Danger by journalists Bob Woodward and Robert Costa. The communication has long infuriated Trump, who last week on Truth Social denounced Milley's year's service as treason ahead his retirement as chairman the Joint Chiefs Staff this week. Milley was actually engaging China to provide information about the President of the United States. Thinking. He shared. Peter Feaver, an expert on civil-military relations who recently published a new book on public trust in the military, said Trump was enraged at Milley over these public accounts that portrayed the general as a defender of his presidency. Feaver said Trump's quest to condemn Milley was also designed to warn other potential critics from speaking out as well. He said the strategy harms civil-military relations and could backfire on Trump and his allies. Trump thinks he can personalize this to Milley, Feaver said. But he fails to understand how this would corrode civil-military relations more generally because if they haven't done anything wrong and you're punishing them, then you have a perverse civil-military relationship. The altercation is the second time their feud has come to T.